Hi YouTube, it's Random. Today I have a new piece of equipment which is NC Star Universal Pistol Rear Sight Adjustment Tool. This video will serve as a review of the above product, and what I'll be doing is I'll be changing out the rear sight of my CZ97B. My CZ97B went to the range maybe just the third or fourth time since I bought it, and I previously drifted the rear sight, and so the last range session I was drifting it a little bit, and I tapped it, and this is what happened. It became finger loose. This sight was driven in this way, and so now I can move it back and forth. If I actually move it to the middle, it's good for one shot. Thereafter, of course, it moves. So I'm going to be changing that out. Now, I bought this universal pistol rear sight adjustment tool as I changed my sights on my CZ-PZR, and I did it with a punch, like what I saw in one other video. And what ended up happening was I scratched the slide, I think on this part, where the punch, the brass punch, had scratched the slide as it had mushroomed, and there's a slight gouge over it. It doesn't affect the pistol, of course, and it was a pistol that was bought secondhand, so I felt bad about it, but not extremely distressed by it. So I figured, well, if I have to replace another sight again, this time I will buy a sight pusher tool. So this one came from Amazon, and I bought it for $49, and I was just checking on the price, which is just a few days later, in order to say the right price I bought it for on this video. And now it's worth $59.99 instead of $49.99, which is the price I paid for it a couple of days ago. Well, maybe 4 days ago. So this is, I think it's also known by NC Star. So anyway, when you open it, and I already lubed this up. This is not my first opening of it, but this is how it comes packed. It comes in an attractive anodized blue color, and this is aluminum framed, and the instructions were to lubricate the threads and the bushings before the first use. So I already did that the first time I unpacked it. I put some gun oil over here, put some lithium grease over the bearing surfaces of this barrel, rather the brass bushing. There is a set screw over here. It comes with an included Allen key, and that's just the right size for it, so you can loosen that up. And so what I did was, when I loosened that up, I was able to thread this out and move the bushings out, and I put a little bit of lithium grease there on this side as well as this side. I also worked the screws to the extreme ends, both sides. So I did that for all the screws, and it had come with 4 plastic inserts, so 2 pairs each. This is a flat side for flat-sided slides, and the other one, which I already have mounted over here, has a step in the plastic such that it's straight, curved in, and then goes straight again. This particular gun has a curved profile like this, and so I figured this would be a better choice for this rather than the flat-sided ones. Now, when I bought this and it arrived, it was impossible to insert the plastic inserts into the dovetails over here, as there was some excess material over here and here. You can easily insert it up until there, but you can't push it all the way in. I think it's just, I don't think it's by design. I think it's a function of the injection molding when they're doing the inserts. And simple enough, since this is just plastic, you can rub it flat with a sandpaper. But in my case, I took a small file from Harbor Freight and just rubbed that down, filed it down, such that it was easy enough to push it in over there. Now, one of these is still tight, and that's all right. And what I've done is, in order to remove the insert, what I do is I still punch it out with the brass punch and my rubber mallet, and that easily dislodges it. But I prefer for it to be tight. If I really had to do it, I could still take it off by hand. So we'll see how this works. So we'll take the slide, and as I mentioned, this has the inserts that have a step, and I've already opened up the side pusher tool such that there's enough space there for the slide. Lifted this up. This is centered. There's actually some lines here, and there's a faint line here such that you can make sure that the side pusher part is right in the middle. What I'll do for now is put it in, and then we'll show it once it is mounted properly. So I'm pushing the sides in. There it is, about centered, and then this other screw is used to clamp down the top of the slide, like so. And this one also has a plastic insert, which is already mounted when I got the device. Now this one has some windows through which you can make sure that the bottom of the side pusher tool is going to be above the slide itself, because if it's below the slide, then when you push it, then you will damage your slide. Now I'm going to raise this up a little bit more, as you could see that it's still only the tip that will be pushed out. And what I'll do is I'll start pushing out the slide, the sight this way. I could clearly see that there is space between the top of the slide and the bottom of the side pusher. This should go out easy, as it's already finger loose. And there you go. Man, there's no resistance at all. This thing was really loose. Worked like a charm. And this will fall off. This is what the sight looks like, or rather the base of the dovetail. And as I mentioned, I just tapped this a couple of times and it became loose, but you can clearly see that It's probably held in place by some Loctite more than anything. I don't know. I think a factory sight should be inserted tighter than that. My replacement sight came from CZ Customs. It's the CZ75 competition rear sight, and this particular sight used in the CZ97B works with the factory front sight, so I don't have to replace the factory front sight. It comes with a small Allen key as well as a set screw. You'll have this profile here, and first things first, I have to make sure that the set screw is backed out enough that it won't be dragging on the bottom. I'm not going to remove it completely, that way I don't misplace it. So we have our sight pusher here. I'm going to clean off the dovetail with some alcohol. In this case, I'll use denatured alcohol, which I have on my bench. Just close it off, that way it doesn't dry out. So the sight, the factory sight, had been pushed in from the left going to the right, looking at it from behind. So when I replace it with this one, I will be going that direction as well, moving from left to right, and then if I have to remove it for whatever reason, right to left. Let's see if we can start it off by hand. Typically you'd want it to be able to go up until the half or a third of the dovetail. And in this case, just get in there a little bit. I may have to sand it down some. That's all that's going in. So let me sand it down first. And so I'm going to tighten the sight pusher. I'll tighten the slide first. Make sure that it will hold it in that position. Okay, that way I don't scratch at the slide also. Now we'll see. Make sure, looking at the side viewing windows, make sure that the slide is clear from the pusher, and we'll start it and see how this works. Oh, it's going in fairly easily. I thought I'd have to sand it a little bit more. And so, just try centering it a little bit more. I may have overshot it, but we'll remove it and see what it looks like. Boy, that was easy. I thought it'll be harder. And no marks on the slide or on the sight itself. Now that being said, it looks like I may be a little bit more over onto the right, so I'll push it just a tad. But basically it's already in there. It's just a matter of adjusting it some more.